Welcome back to another episode of Hey Fam with Dr. SAMiAm, featuring Dr. Sabrine Mutawali, bringing you the best in educational tips to help you and your students thrive.
Hey fam, Dr. SAMiAm back to you with another video. Before we get started, please make sure that you all make sure that you share, be a blessing to somebody else, subscribe to my channel below, and don't forget to click that bell so that you're able to get notification whenever I post a brand new video. And so today we're back with part 5 of our series, 911 Hell, Dr. SAMiAm. You called and I came running. So today, as we continue to navigate remote learning or virtual learning, depending on where you are, let's talk all things timing. Timing is so important, you all, okay? Timing is significant when we're talking about children and their education. So, 5 tips as promised. Tip number 1, develop a routine. How is the entire day going to be made up? Okay, what it is that you're going to do for that day. Your routine may include getting up, taking a shower, getting dressed, making sure that you have breakfast and then start the remote learning, or if your child's enrolled in the virtual academy, still doing online. Or it may also include you having to drop the child off at a coworker house, or maybe a neighbor's house, or maybe a family member's house, maybe at daycare, maybe it may be at a YMCA, wherever it is that you need to take them. Make sure that you're actually creating a Monday through Friday routine. We have got to get our babies back into a normal routine as possible, okay? Something that will mimic if they were in school. Of course, we know that this is different. These are unprecedented times, but we have to do what is best for our children and making sure that they receive the education. Number 2, go to bed on time, okay? Just like you would if we were back in our traditional form of school, still have your children go to bed on time. Set a bedtime. Maybe it is 8:30. I know it is 9 o'clock. I know my nephews, they actually do have to be in the bed by 8 p.m. So shower may be at 7 p.m. Dinner may have been at 6, and so forth and so on. So you want to make sure that they actually are going to bed on time, okay? Research has noted that it tells us that kids who don't get enough sleep on a consistent basis are more likely to have problems at school and more likely to develop a slower pace than their peers as far as it concerns, or as far as it pertains to their learning, okay? So we want to make sure that they're getting to bed on time and getting enough rest, enough sleep during the evening hours so that they can be rested and ready to take charge on the next day. Number 3, set a schedule and stick to it as close as possible. So here goes a sample schedule. We say, okay, we've already set our routine. We did our shower. We had our breakfast and we are ready to go. We're sitting at our desk by 9 a.m. So we said our day starts at 9 a.m. Now, if you're doing remote learning and you're having these live instructors, you need to find out what time your child's teacher is going to go live. I can speak for my school. Because I'm in a high school, you have to be mindful that high school does things a little different than elementary does and that middle school does, okay? So I can speak for high school. If your child has 7 periods, if they're on a traditional schedule, they'll have 6 to 7 periods. Or if they're on a block schedule, they have 4 periods. So it may be a thing of 9 a.m., maybe their math, 10 a.m., then you will have your science. Then you may have a class at 11, taking lunch at 12, then you come back again at 1. So it all depends. So you need to check with your child's school to see when the teacher will actually be going live. Now, if you're in virtual academy, it may look a little different because a lot of the content is pre-recorded. Although there is a teacher assigned, they may not be going live constantly as you would in the remote learning environment. And so you need to make sure that you have some type of schedule that your child can follow daily. So even if they had to step outside of their home and do their remote learning or their virtual learning at someone else's home, they have a set schedule. They understand their schedule. And you can also provide that person who is supervising that child on that day with their schedule. So again, create a schedule, okay? If we fail to plan, we plan to fail. Tip number 4. So number 4, we're going to talk about evaluation, okay? Evaluate how much time it takes in one subject and or another, or in certain assignments and or activities, and vice versa. You want to make sure that you are evaluating. So I know first we just had our very first full week of school. There are some things that parents may want to step back and take a look at and say, okay, you know what? It takes you longer to do your math. It takes you longer to complete certain assignments. So let's adjust this schedule where we're going to give an hour and a half to math and just take some time away maybe from your recess, or maybe from some other area that you feel like the child is stronger in. So you want to make sure that you give a little more time, or even pay a little more closer attention to those areas of challenges. But you also want to make sure that you are pushing them and giving them praise in those areas of accomplishments, those achievements that they're working through, even as they are doing their remote learning or virtual learning. So again, evaluate and adjust as necessary. And number 5 is what I just said, adjust if necessary. So as you evaluate, you looked at the schedule. We know that you need more time in this area. We know that you need less time in this area. We know that we can flip some things around. So tip number 5 is adjust as necessary, okay? Adjust the schedule. We'll start this new schedule this week, and we'll see if it works out. Again, if it's something that we need to go back and try to the drawing board so that we can try to make sure that we get the right fit for the child, then let's do that. So the 5 tips again, all things timing as it pertains to remote learning and virtual learning. Tip number 1, make sure that you develop a routine. Tip number 2, go to bed on time, get enough sleep as possible. As much sleep as possible. Tip number 3, make sure that you create a schedule and stick to it as much as possible. Tip number 4, evaluate the schedule at the end of the week. And tip number 5, adjust as necessary. So you guys know I love to leave you with an educational quote. And so today's quote is coming from the late great John F. Kennedy. And former President Kennedy said, "The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth." You all have a great evening. Parents, just remember, you got this. Contact your teachers, contact your friends, other parents, administrators, school district, whoever it is that you need. Remember, we are here for you. You are not in this alone. We got your back. So stay tuned next week for another video, and I look forward to seeing you. I love you. Have a great one.